But eventually I'll get the PWF all on here and it'll be like, haha, after all these years. So we're going to do a good old-fashioned hello and how are you? This is episode 7 of Road Trip Wrestling. Today, we have traveled all the way back to Natier, Frederic, France to watch a little bit of APC. On the road with me today is not Jason, but it's my good friend ItcheE. ItcheE, would you like to introduce yourself for everybody out there?
G'day, I'm a Tassie pro wrestler. Tassie, I should explain what that means. From Tasmania in Australia. It's the southernmost state, a tiny ass little island. It's probably closer to Antarctica than it is Sydney. I'm in Japan right now in a karaoke room because, etiquette and all that. It's hard to find a place where you can just talk loudly. But yeah, I'm chilling in Chiba and just watch some good old French wrestling with some cuts of curry. So I'm in a good mood.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. We have a Canadian host with an Aussie guest currently in Japan, and we're watching French wrestling. I thought that's a perfect encapsulation of what I'm trying to do here with this show is let's be worldly, let's get out there. And I was really happy because there's a couple people mentioned on the show and that are on this show that go, wow, really is that like world stage professional wrestling. But today we are watching APC, Association de Professionnel du Catch. Apparently in France, they just call pro wrestling catch as a catch-all term, and I kind of like it.
Do they still do that in Germany too?
Maybe. Not from what I've seen, but I've only sort of dipped my finger into that sort of territory.
Germany's gone a bit mainstream now, hasn't it? So they probably don't like to call it catch.
I think it's extremely charming that it's called catch. I think it separates itself. This show, Grand Casino, was shot live January, February, March, April, May 30th. So only a couple months behind us. And as of recording this, I double checked it. It only has 7,500 views on YouTube, which part of me is like, after watching this show, I'm like, that needs to be much, much higher. Like this is not a slept on small independent show. This is a knock it out of the park independent show. So are you familiar at all with French wrestling, French catch?
The last couple of months I've been watching a bit of the older stuff. You know, the old 50s, 60s French wrestling. It's a little bit different these days. The show we watched was a lot more akin to what you'd find on any American or British independent scene, really.
Modern wrestling is what you're familiar with, more like traditional wrestling, or
in terms of anything that's from France. Yeah, like I just think it was 6 or so-ish months ago. I just wanted to go on a dopamine detox, so I thought, let's find the oldest fucking wrestling I can find, the slowest shit, and ended up really enjoying it. Like, it's true what they say about 50s French wrestling, how a lot of it can still hold up today with the amount of spots and flips and stuff that they're doing there. You would not think it was from the 50s if it was in color, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a bit of
the business was killed in the 70s. It was long before that.
Yeah, it reminds me sort of the metaphor of modern movies where a lot of people say if stuff's not happening, then it's boring. But then people go back and they watch like The Shining or something that is relatively boring and they go, oh, cinema, pure fantasy. Sometimes when you slow it down, it helps everything out. I was surprised because I thought, I'll go to Wikipedia and I'll put in French wrestling and I'll get a little blurb and how it started. It begins in 1830. Hold on. What?
Yeah.
So there's not a lot to it. In 1830, a guy basically invents flat hand wrestling, which reminds me of like kung fu. Sumo, but you ever remember Kung Fu Hustle at the end of the movie? He's got that flat hand Buddhist palm. But I think this is in 1830s what is going to be evolved into the modern Greco-Roman wrestling. But I thought, wow, like 1830s, and they're already like writing this down. These are the schools. These are the methods. Okay. Jumps ahead a little bit. 1930. two men create, I guess, the France's version of CMML in FFCP, Fédération Française de Catch Professionnel. And it seems like that was their first like professional catch promotion in 1933. So whether that was modern catch or, you know, catch as catch can back then, because even in Canada in the 30s, it was still, well, it was shoot here and there. There was some work stuff starting, but yeah. And then I thought it was crazy because it's like from the 50s and 70s, everything's getting crazy in France. Like they're going nutty about pro wrestling. And then the wiki underneath took my heart out. 1980s and 1990s, the WWF invasion. So apparently they've done to France what they've done to everywhere else. Basically it's just everybody latched onto the Fed. Not a lot of support for the independents because everybody wanted that type of American professional wrestling. So it seems like there was a big dip, but in the last few years, companies like APC have, because they started in 2004, from what I can tell, they've had two owners and they both have the last name. So I'm assuming it might be another McMahon situation because it's Fabio Constantino and Fausto Constantino. If that's not a father and son name combination, I don't know what it is. So
it's got to be, right?
That's a little, I guess, comforting to see that because I hate, you know, monopolies and stuff like that. But you're like, okay, it's in hands. It's not like boom, 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 boom. Me moved. It's not TNA. It's not Dixie Carter. One guy's got it. He's holding on to it, and yeah, it's funny watching their cage match because they're just like indie. And then all of a sudden, Will Ospreay, Shelton Benjamin, Andrade, Mustafa Ali, Chris Taylor, Nick Nemeth. Whoa, okay. And when you click on
where did they get that money from?
CMML is going to be hosting a seminar there soon. So I don't know if it's money. I don't know if it's just someone's, hey, these guys are super fun. Like it's like independent movies. Some actors will not get paid for an independent movie because they go, oh, this will be a bunch of fun and we'll just go have fun with our friends and that'll be that. So maybe someone told Andrade, hey, there's something going on in France that's kind of special. And he went, let me... Because Shelton Benjamin's been in Germany. Shelton Benjamin's been in Japan. He's been in... I think he was one of the guys that went to Uganda. Like, he's...
Really?
World stage, I would call him. He put him up there with what, like, Desperado and Kojima and these guys are all, and I was like, I didn't know this about Shelton Benjamin before I started Road Trip Wrestling. It's only after kind of diving in where I'm like, this guy's everywhere. So whatever AEW contract they have, that's fantastic because I want to go to France just on a whim and come back. Like, great stuff. But that's all I have before we kind of get into the show. So we opened with actually a beautiful video package. And I thought, wow, this is actually pretty good production. And then it cuts to what I'm going to dub the worst hard cam so far in Road Trip Wrestling because it is not square with the ring. It's like off to the side and like pulled back a bit. Maybe it was just the best they could do. I don't know where the other options were, but as soon as I saw it, I went, oh no, this isn't good.
Luckily, they had a few different camera angles throughout the show.
Yeah, they did. Luckily, they had two handheld cam. I was actually excited to see one weird thing. I love seeing ring ropes. That's like my Road Trip Wrestling bingo. Wherever I see real, actual ropes, I go, I don't know. Like I trained with the cable, so I don't know what it is. But for some reason, when I see the ropes, it just feels more familiar, feels better.
Yeah. I suppose there'd be a big reason why WWE still use them to this day.
Yeah, because like even when you go back and watch WCW, when you hear the rattle of the hose and the cable, it doesn't sound good. It sounds unprofessional. So I get it. Something I thought sounded amazingly professional that they don't have here is when the announcer is announcing what is essentially the one fall bit that the English have. They have their own, this match is stunning or submission. And the crowd, stunning. Well, they say it in French, but I'm just reading the translation. But they, stunning or submission. They have a play back and forth, which I thought, oh, crap, that's fun. That's new. I've never heard that. So I'm immediately on board. Like, oh, my God. We've got some, we have an excited crowd for this.
Yeah, they were a very good crowd. I remember for whatever reason I've watched one of WWE's recent trips to France, and the one thing that stood out the whole time was the crowd's engagement the whole way through. Like, France have a really hot wrestling crowd. They're just nonstop.
And it was the same when we watched an episode of KHAO Wrestling previously on Road Trip Wrestling, and it was the same, like, hyped. We only got about 80 people, but they are the most excited 80 people to be at the show, and they're singing and they're dancing, and you can cut your music short and they'll sing the rest of your song the whole way to the ring. Like, it happens a couple times in the show, and it's like, hell yeah, man. This is a benefit of having one of these small, intimate little environments. You don't get that same interaction in these massive arenas.
Like, even if those massive arenas are filled out, it takes a lot of energy to create that same atmosphere.
Yeah, then it starts killing the crowd, and it's a whole energy thing you have to play with. So yeah, seeing these small, it reminds me of, like, you ever get tickets to a small little indie band playing near you, and you're like, I don't really know who these are, but someone gave it to me, and you go and you're like, it's only 40 people here. This isn't gonna be good. And then you have, like, a religious experience listening to this band, and you're like, I get it. I totally get it. This is the best little gig I've ever seen. That's what this really started to feel like as I'm watching it. Like, the wrestlers aren't even in the ring yet, and I'm like, they got a big TV on the back. That looks great. Their mat is white with the logo. That looks great. The turnbuckles that looks great. The crowd, it's like checking all the boxes. You're like, okay,
this is top tier production quality.
Yeah, there's a little shakiness to some of the camera stuff, but
I don't care.
What's the rule? Like, when a show's so good, you can excuse some of the bad stuff.
Oh yeah.
This is one of those shows. This actually, the crowd and the camera work kind of reminded me of those, like, early ECW shows where it's rough around the edges, but everyone's like, you know what? We don't care. We're here to have fun, and
I think every ECW show was rough around the edges in some way.
But they were a bit more savage when it came to calling out botches and stuff. I think this crowd would, if there was any botches, I didn't see any immediate obvious ones. I think the crowd would have just went, what? Oh, sorry, we didn't see that, huh? Like, my monitor.
Yeah, they definitely didn't care. Yeah.
They didn't care at all. But opening match, we have a singles match between Callum Black and Nate Prince. Are you familiar with either of these guys at all?
I'm not familiar with anyone on this show apart from Ricochet, so I was getting first impressions with every match.
Okay, so I'll leave those questions until the end and more until, like, your impressions of it. Callum Black out first, wearing a black singlet with kind of accents, 10 years experience, trained by JD McDonough, has spent most of his time in over-the-top wrestling. I liked his singlet, like Taz, sort of.
You could tell he was a British technical wrestler just by looking at him, really.
He's like a thick white boy, you know? Like,
yeah, exactly. He's probably vegan too, for all we know.
Out second, Nate Prince, wearing green and black trunks, 4 years experience out of the APC school. I looked through his cage match to try to find a fun fact. The best I got with 4 years experiences was once in a 6-man with the Good Brothers.
Yeah, right.
In France. So I was like, oh, okay, that's
the Good
different.
Brothers in France.
Though
was
apparently
it the APC too?
Not that I can remember off the top of my head. I think it was just one of those general independents there, but I was like, that's so weird. I didn't know they were in that circuit. But Nate Prince looks familiar, and I can't place it. I don't know if it's a wrestler, a show, or a movie or whatever. But as soon as I saw him, I went, like, you sort of look like Nick Namath's little brother. You sort of look like a couple other actors, but there was, maybe that works for him, because as soon as I saw him, I just went, I know you from somewhere, but I doubt it because I've never heard this name. These guys had an uphill battle with me, and I'll call this match. This is how I'm going to refer to this match. These boys stayed in second gear, but beat the crap out of each other in second gear. At first, I was like, okay, you're starting slow. Like, this isn't, a WWE opening match. But then there was like a couple lariats and a couple slams where I was like, oh yeah, I think I think Callum's been taught how to fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do these boys know that it's fake? You know what I mean?
I did like they were very like patient and really trying to establish the, I suppose, heel and face. I didn't expect this show to really go too heavy into heel and face, because I don't know, it's a modern indie. There's just going to be a lot of guys that are doing moves, but it was a fairly nice paced opening match that we're trying to go too extreme too early. One thing that stuck out to me was that in a ring of that size, you really got to hit those ropes hard and come back to make like any sort of flow look good. Like, they were doing your shoulder tackle challenge in there, and like they could get speed up before the shoulder tackles. It's like, why don't they just stand on each opposite corner, then run at each other? You're actually going to get some kind of contact instead of a guy just going here, coming back, and just doing that.
Yeah, it is something we didn't mention about the ring when we started. Is it's not a 20x20. This is not a New Japan ring where they can run for miles and come back full speed. This is what a 12x12, 15x15, like
14, yeah.
So this was basically, you take a step and you're on the ropes. You take a step, you're on the ropes. So I know what you mean when it comes to when you're trying to go to hit those ropes like Brock, like get that real smash. Yeah, you don't have
to
enough.
Go 120% into those ropes. So it's great.
It's hard to at that short distance. I'm saying that from personal experience, that when you only have that one step, you're like, oh crap, I really need to put everything into it. But I will give these boys a lot of credit because they almost put on a strong style match. Yeah. Like it's not Tokyo Dome material, but like if this was a midway through a New Japan card at Cochran Hall, I'd be like, hell yeah. Like,
wouldn't look too out of place, would it?
It wouldn't, because in 918, Callum Black wins with a hidden blade, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, simple finisher. Like, I'm not a big fan of. I got to be self-aware here because we are in more independent people in the wrestling circuit. How do you feel about people on the independents using finishers of people from the major leagues and not changing the name or anything?
I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like, people are going to know that move as the hidden blade more than they are like reverse high impact elbow strike, whatever it would be. If it was more of a generic-ish type move where a lot of people would be able to say, oh, that's a sit-out powerbomb, but then a big guy in like Nashville, Tennessee calls it the Batista bomb, it's probably a bit different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe it's just one of those things. His name's Callum Black. I would say call it the Blackout.
You could.
This is definitely something that you would take to a more experienced coach and say, okay, look, these are these two options. Do I go with the move name that everybody knows and goes Hidden Blade, or do I just change the name so it's more appropriate for my gimmick, but it's everything else is the same? You know what I mean? Depending on your market,
it's a fairly like recently established move as well. Like back in 2015, I don't think anyone was doing an elbow stroke like that.
Yeah, and it's like not to give credit to Will Ospreay, but I definitely appreciate it as a finish because realistically, it's just a bang. It's just strike.
Yeah, that's right. That's a finisher any day of the week.
Like, I'm starting to really appreciate finishers that are just an extremely basic move. A lariat, a headbutt. Just, there's no need for... Yeah, there's no need for all this flip-de-doo when Kishido was using the mandible claw and the Boss J. Yeah, like, okay, he didn't do too well in the Boss J, but simplicity, right? Like, simplicity.
Like, there's so many people in Japan that will still use either bridging German suplex or a lariat as a finish, and it's still like widely accepted. You can do that.
I'm trying to get the STO into my finish. People are a little hesitant because it is a simple move, but part of it, I just say, look, it's one back bump. Do you want me off the top rope? And they go, I'll take that back bump. Yeah, that's all we're doing, bud.
See, back bump. That's a move that 5 years ago won the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. If it's good enough for them,
if it's good enough for them, if it's good enough for one of the greatest titles ever created.
Yeah.
But it's these are, maybe this is something we can reflect on as we go through the show, but like simplified finishes. We don't need all this setup. We don't need all this flip-de-doo. I hate the awkward setup. Okay, I've hit you with a move, and now I have to drag you to the spot, and now you're too close, so you have to move over. Nah. Get on your knee. Bam. Finish. Done. Okay. Appreciate it. Second match of the night for the APC. APC. Please don't pronounce it like that unless you're French. Number one contenders match for the tag team titles. It's just when someone says, what's your favorite thing? And you say APC, it can come off a little different than what you're intending. So let's just lay it out. We have 4 boys that, again, I've never heard of. Bad Terms versus the greatest name, the Star Boys. I was honestly watching this, and they were coming out. I was like doing something else, and I was like, Star Boy. That's a great name. And then when I turned around, I went Star Boys, and the matching outfits. I was like, oh my God! What, like? Okay, so Bad Terms out first. Vinzo's in blue tights, Andre's in blue trunks. I appreciate the team colors here. Yeah. Andre and Vinzo, 5 years experience, trained by Tom Pritchard. Not a name I was expecting to see.
Really?
In this avenue. Yeah.
I didn't expect him to still be training people, honestly.
5 years ago? Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe that's when the 5 years, if that's when they graduated, he was training them beforehand, a couple years. But he could sit there, he could be a Shawn Michaels and sit in the corner and go, your ball's hanging out, and we'd be happy, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't want to spill too many inside secrets, but I've seen a few of those places or dojos where it's like the guy who trained you, he didn't train you, but his name's on there. You can officially say that this guy trained me for the credit, but in reality, that's not the case.
There's a little bit of working in the shoot part of wrestling, because I noticed something. I'm a friend of Jody Threat. Like, she's a good friend of someone that I knew in high school. So she's like off in the radar, but so she went to a school called Super Kicked in Toronto. Right. Long story short, she didn't stick with them. She went somewhere else, and then created the career that she's created for herself, which has been great. But when you look her up on Cage Match or whatever, it'll say her trainers are not that. Her trainers are Josh Alexander, so I totally get it, because the people who trained me aren't necessarily the most known people. So if I got a day with Santino Marella, I'm saying Santino trained me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just a way for people to go.
Yeah, I've heard that about reality of wrestling in Texas. Like, people will rush to put Booker T on their resume, but he's really there. Booker T is not
he was
the
the
one
head coach. Yeah, he was the head coach, but he wasn't like the. Maybe this is a bad. It's like in American football, they have the head coach, and then they have the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special team. So you might be on special teams with a special team coach, but Booker T's the head coach, and you only see him in like meetings and stuff. But Starboy's coming out second, wearing matching pink baggy long pants. Where I've seen these before, like not the exact pants, but I'm like, this is Mikey Whipwreck's pants. You know, the big, they're like latex, but they're like big and baggy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I loved them on these guys. These guys are both 1 year experience out of the APC school. And I was like, okay, 1 year experience. One year experience? Technically, I have more than 1 year experience. These guys are fantastic. Okay, not to like
I'm with 3.5 years experience and I'm nowhere near that good.
Okay, yeah, okay. So to get into it a little bit, this match starts a little bit slow. The heels do a little bit of like, let's slow these guys down match.
Yeah.
What I thought
it was worth it though. It was.
What I thought was interesting is they work a waist lock. Like an actual, like, oh my God, I'm hurting. And it was on the ground. Yeah. And it's like this little athletic guy on the ground is selling this waist lock. And I was like, that's a little corny. And then I went, like, that's a little brilliant, though.
Yeah. Too many people are just grabbing a waist lock for the purpose of transitioning to something else. Like, you can still apply pressure there with that waist lock, right?
And that's sort of what we were taught is like, you can, some moves are just move to an arm wringer to go into this. I watched a Kyle Fletcher match where he did an arm wringer in 3 stages.
Yeah.
So it's like grab the arm, kind of pull it over the shoulder, pull it down, then pull it into the arm wringer. You've done one move, but you've done 3 things. Yeah. You know, it's like simple things, but just done right adds so much. So seeing this guy on the ground selling a waist lock was like nostalgic, I guess. Like, oh my God, this could have been a WCW opening. Like, slow it down. Yeah. We see what the athletic guys are capable of. The heels are like, hell no, we don't want any of that. And that's a great framework for a match because as a fan, you can watch and go, oh, these guys are quick as a whip it, and these guys are not, and they're gonna not let the quick guys be quick. Super civil storytelling.
It's easy. Like back in the older French wrestling that I was watching, body scissors and head scissors were both very common ways to just neutralize an opponent for almost a full minute. And then those body scissors are deadly.
And one of my pet peeves in wrestling is when people do the head scissors. You know, you do headlock takeover, you do the head scissors, and they just go and get out. No, you've not done anything. Like, okay, if you do a kip up or a flip, okay, you've done something to get out of it all. But when they just do the fish flop and push, like, nah, bro. Now, when they do that and don't get out of it, I like that because now you're working the hold. Okay, we got something here. But yeah, that fish flop out I hate. But yeah, this is very simple psychology. Like when we're talking Memphis, territories, whatever you want to, you know, like this felt old school. This felt, for lack of a better term, perfect. And then, for lack of another term, this slowly devolves into a Young Bucks match.
It's out of hand pretty quickly. Like, the pop they got from that first hot tag was so electric. You could have just had a wah-bam, 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 be done within the next 2 minutes, and it would have been an amazing tag team match, really.
And it becomes like a a pattern where it's like I hit you, you go down. Someone hits me, I go down. You hit the next person, they go down. I get up. You like it became one of those, and it's like these guys love the Bucks. Like I'm just gonna go out there and I'm gonna say these Star Boys might be Young Bucks fans.
Maybe.
I will say this: the closing sequence was like a beautiful little combo. Before we get to that, though, there was so they do Poison Rana. I would cut that if I was their coach. It looked I didn't go back to see if it was perfectly safe. Just looked a little rough, So hopefully like you can land safe and it still look rough. So saying that, hopefully he was safe and everything came out right. The other thing I'm going to point out as not a big fan is they did the coast to coast headbutt. I don't know what it is about the coast to coast headbutt. I don't like it. Stop doing it. Don't do Air Canada. Don't do flying headbutts. Stop it.
It's weird how that's become a popularized move now when wrestling spent so long trying to phase out the diving headbutt. Now they're just doing it a little bit differently and everyone wants to do it now.
But instead of doing it stop doing it. Okay, I'll do a lesser version of it. Oh, okay. No. Yeah. Why don't I ramp it up even more and do coast to coast?
Like why don't I come on a really awkward angle that I'm gonna have to jump at 100% just to make a distance in the first place?
I have no problem with the Kokeshi headbutt because it's a small falling headbutt. You can put your hands down, you can catch yourself, and he never hits it. And when he does hit it, it's like shoulder, it's in the chest, it's in the meat. Okay, I'm fine with the Kokeshi. When he does it off the top rope to the floor, that's when I go, bud. You only have so many of those in you, so let's not.
Did Honda actually do top rope Kokeshi to the
He did from the top of my head, I can picture him doing a Brett's rope Kokeshi to the floor. So not all the way, but one down. And he does the head tilt and he hits it. Like everyone's like, oh, he hit it. That's the one he hit, because he would have died if he missed it. But out of all this, it's a weird, as a reviewer, I feel like I don't want to nitpick, but at the same time, you have to point out these highlights. This was a fantastic match. These boys, for 1 year in, I think Andre and Visno are 5 years in, so that might explain some of the shape of the match. They have the more experienced boys kind of take over. This was a great match. Those are just the low lights for me. Stop doing headbutts. Stop doing the forehead to forehead headbutts. New Japan, I'm looking at you. I don't like. I'm just gonna say I don't like it. If you like it, that's fine.
That's fine. I understand why people would not like it. Absolutely.
I think maybe I'm traumatized from watching the Shibata Okada match.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that more than once. And that wham headbutt every time just gives me that, it feels like a heartbreak. Because that's the moment. You know what I mean? Now, knowing now, hindsight, we're like, that's the moment. Like, he could have died. He could have never wrestled again. All these crazy options for, okay, it was fucking sick. It was totally fucking totally fucking sick. I get it. I don't want to, it's like, what was it? Harley Race said stop doing the headbutt. Daniel Bryan said stop doing the headbutt. How many people have said stop doing the headbutt?
Daniel Bryan, of all people, says it wasn't a good idea. It probably wasn't a good idea.
So if they're doing it in a safer environment, the diving headbutt's got more force, but I'm aiming for your chest. I'm aiming for your shoulder. I'm not forehead to forehead and pulling you in. No. That takes me out. But I'm not going to deduct any points or anything from this match for that. I'm just going to be like an old man parent, be like, okay, boys, no better for next time. But at 13-10, Star Boys win with a 450, which I thought that was going to be a little crazier. The fact that it was only a 450.
Well, it was more of like a 390. He didn't quite get the rotation and turned into more of a knee drop.
And to be fair, it was like avalanche German into a move, into a move, into a move, into the 450. So as a closing sequence, it was like, they say the nail in the coffin. Instead of a hammer, it was like a sledgehammer. Just fuck. Which I can sort of appreciate. Like, if we're going to win, we have to put them down, for lack of a better term. So we're going to put everything in our power to, like, stay down. So
for a match with such high stakes, too, you're a tag team that's a year in and you have a number one contendership opportunity. Like, you're going to want that real bad.
And that's the story that kind of they told, is you have the young, hungry team. We need this. This is crazy for our journey. You know what I mean? To even to just challenge for a belt at that soon in your career. Like, work or shoot, it all applies the same. Like, they trust you enough to work with a champ at your inexperience.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Any closing thoughts or opinions on this match before we move on?
These next couple of matches are the ones that are a little bit spotty because I was simultaneously working. We covered pretty much all of it anyway. Like, you could have shaved a couple of moves out of the match and it still would have been just as good. But I just always wanted to give him extra credit for how good that pop was with the hot tag in the middle of the match. It's a shame it wasn't closer to the end of it, really.
Yeah, 5 years experience is good experience, but in the grand scheme, that's still fairly new. So I don't know. I don't know if it was just a miscalculation when they were planning it out, when they were kind of doing their ups and downs. They're like, oh, okay. But hey, hindsight's 2020, and we all learn stuff from our matches, and we move on. And
when the crowd's that hot, they're gonna unexpectedly react loud to certain things than you'd expect anyway. So it's not a bad thing. The crowd,
and it's one of those things. When the crowd is that into you, do you even make mistakes? You know what I mean? Like, you could mess something up completely, but if the crowd goes, whoa!
Yeah,
you still did your job. So I look back at Sabu, and he would do a botcha move, and the crowd would react, and he's like, "Oh, I gotcha." Out next was his third match of the night. So what starts off as a 1-versus-1.
I started off as a 1-versus-1.
It was.
I didn't check the cage match in advance, and then I saw a couple of entrances and remembered that I didn't have much time. I skipped the entrances, and then I was like, why is there another guy in this match now?
So the way that I've sort of read this is it was booked as a 1-versus-1. So coming into the show, 1v1, Kyan Newman and Leeds Lewis. And as soon as I saw Leeds Lewis in KHAO Wrestling, I went, that's an Aussie. If I've ever seen one, that's one. I looked him up, not an Aussie. But do you know who he's trained by? Can you just shot in the dark of who this Frenchman would be trained by? That would make me go, he is a product of the PWA Academy, trained by Madison and Robbie Eagles.
Bullshit.
And as soon as, like the conversation we had before about trainers,
he could have been there a week.
That's what's on his cage match. He might have been at the PWA Academy. He might have had some training from Robbie Eagles. But when it's on his cage match, that's what it said. And as soon as I saw it, I went, is that why you look Australian? I don't know why.
Now that I'm getting a good look at him here, he definitely has the modern young Australian look to him.
But he's 100%. French. Because where were you born? And he's born in France. So it's like, did you go to Australia? Was that your excursion over there? Or was it a similar story like you, where you just so happened to be traveling through, professional wrestling? So who knows?
His Instagram, last month he challenged for DDT's second most prestigious title in some random European event.
Cage Match says he has less than 1 year experience. Less than 1 year. And as soon as I saw that, I went, I give up. I'm done. That's it. What's the point? What's the point in wrestling? You have this guy who is less than a year, and he's okay. He's a little bit rough around the edges. I don't want to say he's a phenomenal talent, but then you have guys like KHAO who have been trained for like 12 years now.
True.
And they're still not fantastic. I like KHAO when he was with ELP. I thought that was okay. Sure. I don't mind him, but not the best. He went to the PC and is still training in the PC.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Do you know the guy called Aaron Solo? Ever heard of him? I think he's with AEW now.
Really familiar.
He's another guy who's spent an extensive amount of time at 3 or 4 different schools, even as he was actively performing. But it just never rose above a mid-carder status. Which, I mean, credit to him for continuing to reinvest in himself and getting the extra training. I'm sure it would have made a difference. But it's some people are like a rocket out of a cannon. And for others like me, not so much. It's a long journey.
But is this a case of him right place, right time? Is this he is legitimately a, for lack of a better term, savant of wrestling? You know what I mean? Less than a year of wrestling, you should still be learning chain wrestling and internationals. Right?
Don't need to do that these days, really, do you?
Now, it says less than half a year experience wrestling. Now, is that his training? He could have had 5 years of training and graduated, and that would make a bit more sense. Because let's say Robbie Eagles trained him and said, "Hold on, we're gonna hold off on you. We're gonna real cook you solid through and through, and when we put you out there, you're gonna be ready." Because I've heard stories about Raven talking about the territories back in the day. He goes, no, we would train you until we thought you were ready, and then like a bird, push you out. Go.
Oh, gosh.
You don't get over, get out. You get over, come. You know what I mean? They're like, no, school was X amount of months, and then you're done. They're like, there's only so many ways we can teach you how to work. Then you have to learn how to work in the ring. So maybe this was a case of no. We're gonna make sure that you're thoroughly developed, because he's got a good look. He doesn't look like just a schmo off the street. I know some independent wrestlers. We have that problem where they're just like, is this just a guy you saw fighting outside? He's just a guy, So great look. If this is him in less than a year, where will he be in 5? Who knows? He's a light heavyweight though, so maybe someone like Tiger Mask. I don't know who does Best of the Super Juniors, talent relations, but there's 2 people in this show that I would go, God, we can get rid of. I like Valiente. We can get rid of Valiente. Okay, they
need that CMLL rep in there. It's just like a tradition at this point.
I appreciate that, but it's we can bring in a couple of these. This is the equivalent of a young lion in my eyes. Give them one win on someone weird, and then just call it a day. Leeds Lewis would go undefeated until they beat Jun Kasai in the second last match. So everyone would go, oh, and then I call it a day.
There you go on. Yeah.
There we go. The fucking KHAO, whoever's booking that, write that down. Okay, so coming out next is, I'm assuming this is an Irish name, CIANNOONAN. Kyan Noonan. Sean Noonan. Sean, as soon as you said that sounded much better. Yeah, Sean Noonan, wearing black with accent shorts, kind of looks like a bit like Kenta.
I like his entrance here and stuff. This is one of the only entrances that I accidentally watched.
I'm a bit with you there. As soon as there's an entrance, I'm like, I'm not a. It's not a part. I'm not a big American wrestling fan. You know that, but for the sake of the show, I'm not a big American wrestling fan. So when there's like a entrance, unless it's like a dome show, like a big arena show, I don't really care. If you're Shinsuke at Wrestle Kingdom, I'm ready because this is going to be a beautiful sight. But yeah, I skip most of these because it's just a walkout. There's not really too much.
Some people on the independents stress too much about the entrance, and they need to like hit this pose there and hit this pose there. You just got to get the crowd hyped. If you're a babyface, try to make them the test you be a little bit bored with you if you're a heel. Like it doesn't matter that much. I'd rather spend more time in the ring than trying to put together some like fancy entrance.
My observation for entrances on the independents is everyone who wants to walk out slowly and look stoic, don't. Again, personal opinion, but when you walk out like super slow and you're trying to look menacing, you're not. Major League Wrestling, they look menacing because they have the lights, they have the music, they have the stage, they have all that production. Baron Corbin looks tough as nails.
That helps them a lot too. You got to look a lot meaner if you're jacked. If you're just a big guy, like if you're just 6'3", that's all you got going for you. You're not going to have that same sort of presence. You know what I mean?
And the worst possible thing you can get during an entrance is someone going, fucking, who's this cunt? Like, you know what I mean? So when someone walks out, I notice it in the independent wrestling up here. A lot of heels, they want to seem scary and stoic. So they walk out slowly and they kind of look at everybody. But the fan just sees some bloke standing there. You're not Roman Reigns. You're not Okada. Yeah, they're just like, who's this? But if you come out, as much as I hate over-the-top heels, if you come out going, punch a kid, immediately I can go, oh, he's a dickhead. Yeah. Done. Easy.
And you're guaranteed to get a reaction from the crowd from that too, which is what we're here
for. But when you come out like and just look, I'm doing this because a buddy of mine up here does that, but yeah, just the stand still and look. Not the big dramatic entrance that you're, seeing in your head. So seeing some of these actually made me, these walkouts, they're not entrances. They're like UFC walkouts. Yeah. Like the crowd is close by and they're kind of like hyped. And it's like less of a presentation and more of like, okay, I'm here to fight. But, okay. So we got Noonan. Oh yeah. So, an Irish lad. It might make sense that his name is that out there. I feel bad because I am half Irish. I should know how to say these names. But Sean Noonan, Kyan Noonan, whatever, literally out of the School of Irish Wrestling. So
the School of Irish Wrestling.
The name of the school is School of Irish Wrestling. So
if you want to know how to learn wrestling Irish style, that is the school.
I just picture Finley sitting there going, "You want to know how to wrestle, kid? Oh, you son of a bitch! Stop hitting me!" Okay, we joke, but Ireland's another country that has a fair share of wrestling history and a fair share of successful wrestlers. Not as much as England because the British. But yeah, like. We can't ignore Finn Balor. We can't ignore Becky Lynch. But those are just the tips of the iceberg. We don't even know the massive talent that are on the independents there for those two to become what they are. So, as soon as I was writing that down, I was like, I need to take a look. Maybe we need to do an episode in Ireland and see what's going on over there. But we got a little bit on a tangent, bringing it back to the match. It started as a 1-versus-1. We get a video package. They didn't quite do the audio right. Fine. It's fine. I had to do the YouTube has auto translated closed captioning. Yeah. So every so often I kind of went, what? He just came out and said it's a 3-way match. And I was like, oh, come on. Like, I could have figured that out. But he is adding someone who I'm going to say looks very familiar. This is a person that we saw wrestling in KHAO before, TLB, wearing the long pants, 4 years experience. He is out of, oh my God, these school names are better in France. École de Catch and Legendary Perfect, which I feel like could be a New Japan nickname.
It could be.
Like if that is Tanahashi, Legendary Perfect, you'd be like, that's a pretty cool nickname, actually.
That is.
So, you know, the School of Irish Wrestling, take note. You know, cooler names is what we're looking for here.
Has a background in boxing and soccer. That's somebody no one messes
with. There's
punch and kick.
They'll do one of those soccer kicks where they kick you, but they don't really.
He's got a background in selling from playing soccer as well. It's a pretty crucial part of that sport.
That's actually, as much as that's a joke, it's like that's actually a legitimate point.
NBA's getting to that point now as well.
When I was doing a little some of the research, I did notice that there's a lot of like, this is a rugby fella, this is a basketball fella, maybe this is a bit like every other country where, hey, because how many stories do we have in professional wrestling where a wrestler shows up to the gym and there's this big fecker there, and they go to the big guy and they say, hey, do you want to be a wrestler? And he goes, yeah, sure, why not? And they give it a go. Because I swear there's dozens off the top of my head. Like, I want to say DDP was a story like that. Bianca Belair was a story like that. I believe Mark Henry went to like a powerlifting competition and just kind of looked at her and went, you.
Oh, no.
Because she came out, she did the powerlifting, but she's like twirling her hair and she's doing a dance. And he's like, yeah, she gets it. This is pro wrestling. But, okay, so this match, getting into it, because I think we've had a lot of fun describing everybody in it so far. These guys try their best to do a 3-way match.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be too harsh on them, but it does devolve a little bit into, okay, you and me are going to wrestle for a bit, and then you dump me out, and then you wrestle them for a bit, and then they dump you out, and then we'll wrestle. I'm not hating it. It's a bit, I don't want to say hokey. I feel a bit mean, but it's a bit stereotypical to have a 3-way match, and it slowly just devolve into one-on-one. But by the end of it, they slowly like start what I'm going to call the weave, where it's like, I'm going to hit you down, but you're not going to powder. You're just going to stay there. But by the time you get up, it's time for the next move. So it creates this like in and out weave of everybody. So they do triple down, which is a fun expression to say. They all get up at 7. And after that mark, I'm going to say these guys really do pull off a good 3-way match. Like there's no like bollocks. Yeah, go for it.
The crowd still believes in 6-7 in France.
Yes.
They would go 6-7. They said something, and the announcer said 6-7. I remember one match where a heel intentionally stopped the double down at 6, so they couldn't get to 7, and they got him like booed.
That's as much as I had to teach kids with as part of my job. As much as I hate 6-7, that's a bit. That's a bit. 5, 6. Don't. And you could work the crowd. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Crowd full of kids. They're all gonna want to say it.
And then have the ref behind them. So as you're like working the crowd saying, "Don't say it. Don't say it." Have the ref. And that just this is like we seem to have a theme on this episode, which is so much better than the MLW episode. That theme was depressing. This theme of this show seems to be, well, the theme with MLW on the episode we watched is there's a lot of either WWE guys or canceled guys, Austin Aries stuff, you know. So for this company, APC, their theme so far is simplicity, working easy, like you don't have to go too heavily complicated. Like the tag match was a bit of a Young Bucks match, and this had some weaving in and out, and it's complicated, but there's no like 630s, there's not 100 dives, there's no selling finishes. Like, these guys put in a really great three-way match, and it closes with a Starship Pain. Leeds Lewis wins in 7:33.
It was a bloody nice Starship Pain too.
I thought it was off the top. I thought he did a spiral tap because I kind of like, whoa. So I had to rewind and be like, oh my god, that was a Starship Pain. Like, this is like the theme of the show. This was 7 minutes 30. So for a three-way match in less than 8 minutes, clean, they told the story, they got all their shit in. Like, if I'm learning any,
all their shit in?
I feel like if there's any lesson to learn from this show so far is I hate to say it, slow it down, brother. Simplify. Those boys worked a waist lock for 5 minutes and we loved it. But yeah, like, this just goes to show, like, if you're on the independents, you don't have to be breaking your body to be doing kind of stunts. You don't have to be Darby Allin. You don't have to be Ricochet, even though he does a fantastic job later.
You got a crowd for that show. You got a crowd that's already so hyped. You don't need to be trying to push the boundaries in the entire time, you know? Like, they're already there. You're just going to play with them.
There's an expression I love in wrestling. I don't hear it too often, but if you put the work in before, you don't have to put the work in during. Yeah. So if you and me have a match and no one knows who we are, we have to work that match. We have to really, really work. But if you and me do a great job at selling our story, now we can go in. You can put me in a headlock for 5 minutes and the crowd's going to eat it up because we've already put the work in. We've done our job, and now we get to coast for, I hate that term, but we've already done it. They're already here. Like Hogan said, they've already paid, brother. Like, but this crowd was hot. So do you have to go out and have a 5-star match? No. Can you work a slower, simpler pace? Yeah. This is a lesson of knowing the crowd. Maybe plan your match out once you hear the crowd, or modify your match. This is something I'm literally writing down in my own head for upcoming shows, because we plan stuff out ahead of time. I'm new. I'm nervous. But if we go to a show and the crowd's like this, it's like, no, we're changing everything. Everything's going to be simplified. We don't need the John Woo. We don't need, the Brett's rope. We don't headlock, arm wringer. If your finish is a choke slam, I'm working that arm. You're going to, simplify, slow it down. Furious note taking. We're not even to the intermission. I feel like I've learned so much about professional wrestling from a show that has 80 people in it, 100 people maybe.
Yeah.
It's a small venue, but okay. Moving on. Next up, the APC European title match: Aaron Ordo versus Connor Mills. Out first, Connor Mills wearing just multicolored shorts. 11 years of experience out of the Progress wrestling school.
Progress.
Oh, yeah. Every so often, there's a school where you go, okay, all right. These guys have some connections here and there. Aaron's out second, wearing a smug look and green and black shorts. 2 years experience out of the APC school. This guy's a heel, right?
Yeah.
all this guy does is make a shit-eating grin, and everyone is immediately like, nope, don't like him. That's it. We're done with you.
That's how easy it can be sometimes, you know?
And this is a continual lesson that we're learning. Like, he literally just walks out. We're talking about the stoic. He walks out like chest out, nasty look on his face, grilling.
Mm.
Like, he looks at some of the crowd folk, and I was like, leave those crowd members alone. Like, they're you know, they're trying their best. Okay, don't be mean. But yeah, this I was like, again, this is one of those simplified, make it simple. But these boys, they do what we're talking about. They open up slow because the crowd is very much into this. Work simple, slow it down. Just, you know, like, what did they say back in the day where it's like the Midnight Express, where it's like they do a move and it's like you don't even feel it. Like, just everything's gentle, everything's a nice fluid movement. And a part of me was like, did they plan it like this? Did they know that they're in the middle of the show and there's going to be a little bit of a dip? Or did they go, no, crowd's happy, slow it down? Because yeah, they do a chain for. Well, this is where I debate it, because at first I was like, oh, they know what's going on in the crowd. They know to slow it down. These boys chain for a bit, and you can hear the crowd like,
They fade out.
They faded out, and it's like, ooh, I don't know.
It's such a hot crowd, but they obviously have that sort of expectations.
And maybe it was timing of, because we do have an intermission of the show, so maybe it could have been earlier or whatever. But yeah, for some reason in this match, Aaron Ordo slows it down, brother. Like, when you hear that expression, this is what they mean. Like, do nothing, do less than nothing. But it's a simple story, because it's one of those, like, I like to sort of call it a catch me if you can match, where like the second Connor gets a little bit of momentum, it's just like, it's like letting the cat out of the cage. You know what I mean? The second that door opens, it's like, oh my God, the curtains are clawed, the couch is destroyed. And it's like, this is good, like, framing for a match. Slow it down. Let's see if I can hold this guy down as long as possible. I don't know if it was the right call, because the fans just, they don't reject the match, but you can tell that something's going on in the pacing of the show, and it's like they kind of sit on their hands for a little bit.
Be okay to let that happen for a bit. It's kind of like a dopamine detox for the crowd. Like, it may seem like the world is ending in the moment, but if you just let that play out for a little bit, and then you ramp it up again, it can work.
Yeah, I remember hearing a story. I think it was Eddie and JBL. I hate giving JBL any credit, but it was like a headlock.
YouTube short of that recently,
Yeah, and he was like, no, the crowd's really high. I'm gonna hold a headlock to let him come down. And then they held that headlock for like 5 minutes, so the crowd was dead, hated it, almost rejecting the match. Then they said, let's go. So this is the stuff in wrestling school they don't necessarily teach you, because it's very abstract and it's very hard to kind of learn and determine. But this is that flow.
You get it wrong so easily. You could kill the crowd if you did it too.
And it's just knowing certain things, like your rule of threes and stuff like that. This felt like they had a match planned. I'm gonna double check the experience. Oh, so Connor's 11 years, Aaron's 2. So maybe this was a planned match. We're just gonna do the match. Aaron might not have the experience to. I'm gonna start calling stuff on the fly. We got to figure out. We got to do something here. So maybe Connor just kind of said, you know what, this isn't the best reaction, but let's just plow through the match as written, and just get to the finish. I'm with the fans on this one, because I kind of faded out. I can admit they're being physical. I can admit they're trying really hard, but for some reason there's this unexplainable lack of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not knocking the wrestlers, but there's just something in the air that was like, "Ugh, this is a rough one."
My only knock was they built up to that crazy ass like electric chair German suplex thing. Then he finally gets an amazing reaction, but they still do like 3 to 4 kickouts after that, and he wins with some double stomp, which looked less impressive than the electric chair German suplex.
He did the double stomp in the corner and then a normal curb stomp in the middle of the ring. 2057. You could have shaved 5 minutes off of this, and I would have been ecstatic.
I love the physical bit in the middle, but it's hard because the whole time on this show I've been thinking, yeah, maybe you could slow it down, and then people finally try and do that, and it's like, oh shit, that didn't go as expected.
It's a very like we're already slow, so if you slow it down even more, it might hit that mark where it's too much, and so I think in a perfect world, Connor should have went, something's wrong. We've lost them. Let's do something, get them back. But who knows if there's if APC is one of those companies that's like, if you go off script, you're gonna get a yelling at the back, no matter who you are. Because some wrestlers have that experience and trust where they can go off script, and the producer, the booker, whatever is gonna go, let them cook, let them see what, like, I trust them, I know what they're going, okay. But this might be one of those times where it's like, don't go off script with them. Plow out the match, just make it work. Unfortunately, that hurt them in this one, but
it makes sense if they're both lesser experienced. I think the safer option at the end of the day is to just do what you have planned, as opposed to taking things on the fly in the middle of the match.
And especially depending on the type of wrestler you are, because if Connor is a DDP type wrestler or a Macho Man type wrestler, and you start calling spots that are not in the plan, they might freak out because they're going to go, what are you talking about? We have this. And they're like, well, no.
What's happening?
Not everybody is that improv wrestler where you can, like, I heard JBL and Eddie are the best at it, where they can just whisper. And now they have a whole new match planned out instantly, psychically, because they both just mesh, But that's the goal to get to. Anyway, Aaron poses with the belt up on the Titantron, or whatever we're going to call it in this, the APC Tron. They promote it's going to be Aaron versus Mustafa Ali in Triumph in Paris. And you can hear the crowd like, oh, like seeing Mustafa Ali's name to them is a big deal.
That's a big deal for sure. And then I can't remember if the even bigger announcement is after that or later in the show.
It might be later in the show. Comes up a bit later, but we can talk about that now because what's coming up next is just the intermission. I do kind of like it because the announcer just kind of runs up and goes, all right, intermission, go get drinks, go for a smoke, everyone get out of here, go have fun, we'll be back. Like, that's, like, I'm very much used to the Japanese, like, okay, like, they're so formal, they're so presentable. Just having a half-drunk French dude in a suit go, get out of here, you crazy kids. The tone, you know what I mean? It's like, this is a fun show. It's well presented, but at the same time, these are people that are enjoying what they're doing, and you can see it through the screen. Okay, so I was really happy because the intermission, the only thing I want to note about the intermission is when we're watching this show on YouTube, it says 4 hours, like 4:08 or something. And I was like, Jesus, 4-hour show is a nightmare. I see intermission, I go, okay, thank God. I see half an hour, I go, oh, okay. We skip forward half an hour. It says, I should have Googled what this means. Reprise Benoit. Probably should blank out that last word I said just to be safe. I don't know if that means like we're still waiting, because that goes on for another 10 minutes. And as much as I'm like, hey, you shouldn't have that on your screen for that long, the other part of me was like, fucking, like, quickly smoke, drink, like, how much time we got? This is great. So 45-minute intermission in the middle of a wrestling show.
Unheard of.
When did this start local time? 6?
Yeah.
So you'd have 2 hours, you'd have a little bit of a break. It did look like at a pub, or not at a pub, it looked like a bigger bar, club type of location. So, like, do you think they were getting out of there at midnight, or do you think this was a starting earlier? Start at 6, get you out by 10? It's hard to say, but there's a part of me that was like, I don't know if I could have sat through this whole show.
Yeah. I would see people even in the main event that were starting to fade out just because like they were ready for bed. It wouldn't have mattered who was in the ring.
Now, we can get to the main event when we get to it. I think the people in the main event did work with that a bit, but yeah, that's a solid observation. Like, by the end of the show, this is like a Mania crowd. They're just done. They've had fun for 3 hours. They're drunk. They're tired. They want to go home. Like,
they've probably got in an argument with their wife already.
And no, we're gonna stay longer. But you said it stopped at 10. Yeah, it stopped at 10. It's 11:30. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's like this could be a little much, but saying that as a viewer on YouTube in the comfort of my home, in the comfort of my own house, overall this is like much easier to watch than it would have been live. But coming up next, we only have 3 matches left.
Three matches left, yeah.
We're going to try to smash through this and not take too long. But up next, Mecca versus Josh T. Josh T out first, wearing gold baggy pants with accents. Yeah, he had a little bit of that Mikey Whipwreck pants kind of feel too. Mecca, who another returning wrestler from the KHAO episode. He's 6 years experience out of the APC school. I'm starting to become a big fan of this guy, and I think we're going to find out why as we go through this match. Have you ever heard of the expression "a play with your food" match?
That's what it was, especially towards the end.
I loved this match. Like, I hate to say like, oh, where it's a review show. I loved it. Da. There's not much to say because this is an observation I've had with making this show is every so often when you're watching a match, you can sit there and take notes. This person did this person did that. But every so often you watch a match and you just get sucked into it. Like, you can't even turn your eyes away to take a note. Rope break, whatever. You're getting slowly sucked in. This was one of those matches for me because as much as it was a structure we've all seen before, we all know this match type, these two boys put on a hell of a goddamn show, considering. Because usually this match type is for like limited wrestlers. You beat the hell out of me, and every so often I'll get a couple hope spots, but that's all I got is these little hope spots because I'm new. But it's like it grew and grew. A couple like hope spots, but then the hope spots got bigger. And then by the end of the match, they were on equal footing and they were fighting toe to toe. And it was one of these matches where 21-26, it felt like a 10-minute match in the best way possible.
Yeah, and then they did like a story at the end where Josh T actually like earned Mecca's respect, and so he sort of like did the whole help him up and all that, and he's like, "Well, I'm still gonna kill you. This is a match." Finishes him off 1, 2, 3. Like, nice job, lad. But next time maybe.
It's like and Mecca has great facials in this match, so he's sort of like, look. I don't want to put a dog down. I don't want to do this. I'm sad. I feel sad doing this. And then the dog bites him and he's like, Okay, all right, I guess we're doing this. And you can see in his face, in his eyes, in his mind, like the roller coaster he's going on emotionally. This is, look, people told me to watch Brock Oba because of the facials and the storytelling. Brock Lesnar needs to watch Mecca to see how to do facials and storytelling, because you could see, I could take stills from his face and you could tell which emotion he's emoting, which is something they do for acting in movies. So for bad actors, they'll get a person and go, what, The Room, what's the guy, the guy, oh, hey, Mark, Tommy Wiseau. If I took a bunch of pictures and said, which emotion is he emoting, you'd have no idea. But with Mecca, I could show you these emotions and you'd go, like, frustrated, angry. He's sort of like, what's the word? I don't want to do it. Like, he's kind of looking away. Like, I really don't want to do this. Like, I'm really, oh man, I'm really looking for this word here, but it's like regretful. Like, you can see it in his face where he's like, I don't want to kick this dog. But by the end of the match, he kicks that dog square in the face, full force. Bam. Okay, so I have to point out a total contradiction. If I'm going to be anything, I'm going to be self-aware. Seems to be my catchphrase. I complained about the headbutts earlier. Mecca does a series of headbutts in this match. I don't know if I'm a hypocrite or if it's different, but these headbutts, in my eyes, completely fine.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean about how I like they're slightly different?
I can't remember them.
Okay, so the ones I don't like are the ones that are bam. I don't like the diving ones. I don't like the like connecting ones. Mecca does a like I want to say this, they did in a movie, but he basically goes
and
jumps.
It's coming back to me now. Yeah.
And it like, but it's like more of a shoulder tackle where he thigh slaps. So
now
it's very,
I'm finally remembering more of the match, and it's like every time Josh looked like he finally had one over him, Nick would just fire one of those headbutts.
But it wasn't like gross headbutts. They were great, but it would be like one shot. Well. Okay, I'm done with you. Wham! Bam! You go down. But yeah, I like the like jumping torpedo-esque. It's basically a shoulder tackle, but yeah, thigh slap. Crowd goes nuts. Maybe I am a hypocrite. Maybe I'm contradicting myself.
There's a big difference.
I just feel like there's slight enough difference where you're not aiming skull to skull. You're aiming more shoulder to shoulder. You're animating the noise instead of hoping that the headbutt. Like, I want to say in Boss J, there's a couple of headbutts where the point was we want the mics to pick up the thud. No. Thigh slap. I don't care what what's his name? Vaughn said, Vince Vaughn. No, Jack Vaughn. I don't care what Jack Vaughn says on Instagram or whatever. Thigh slap. It's fine. People make fun of it. Do it. Takeshita does it. He's one of the best in the world. Who cares? But yeah, I really enjoyed this match for the story it was. Like, they really put together the right facials. They really put the right like waves, the right momentum. Josh by the end gets like serious momentum, a bunch of big moves, and it's like, oh, okay, all right. Like, this is my highlight of the show so far. Like, everybody's been good, but this one match has been the like standout. Now, is that going to continue as the show goes on? No, but we're for now. Mecca versus Josh T is the highlight of the match. Do you have any thoughts before we move on?
Well, there's one symptom of like only half watching a show, and it's like you don't get the full scope of someone. Unfortunately, most of the times when I looked up, I saw Josh T. He was either trying to do like some cutter, some like springboard cutter variant, or some moves, and it's like, holy shit. How many of these guys are floating around now? How many of them are they going to be?
I 100% can second you on that, because I remember watching it and he hits Lethal Injection.
Oh no!
And I call it that. I call it that because it's that specific cutter variant where it's the handspring comeback cutter. Look, cutters were hip like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
People were bringing them back a few years ago.
Point where I feel like I need to replace my twister paint because it's just another cutter at the end of the day.
Do we need to bring back stunners? Is that what we need? Like everybody's doing. Yeah, that's true. We've learned again. This is a thing we've taught, like a lesson from APC. Learn the lessons that come before us. Don't do stunners. Don't do leg drops. Don't do it's like. Up next, the second last match for the APC tag team titles. We have the Suplex Republic, which I'm still unsure if I like that name. Kuma Bullet and Zach Iridi versus La Tatik. It just says Griff and Thiago Montero. Thiago Montero is okay. Let's go through all of these because we might get in what is it? We might get a little bit of knowledge on what's going on with the show. So Griff comes out, white shorts, purple flames, 2 years experience, APC school. Kuma comes out. I'll come back to Thiago, don't worry. Suplex Republic. Kuma's got 3 years experience, APC school. Zach's got 8 years experience, APC school. Going back to Thiago Montero. We saw him in KHAO. He's the person that threw a lady off a balcony. I could send you the clip in the show. It's phenomenal. But there's like balconies. It's like a nightclub. And after the match, they fight up, and he power bombs her and chucks her off onto about. I was so happy it wasn't a table. He threw her onto about 12 people. So refs.
Would that be a clip that I've seen randomly somewhere? Maybe.
It's maybe it's very like nightclub, dark nightclub. He's like pants, no top, Italian looking guy. I'm just going off his name and where he later. And he just chucks her off. But he's 11 years experience, and oh my god, I gotta learn how to phrase stuff in my notes. This is the guy famous for tossing a woman off a second-story building, a second-story balcony. But yeah, he's one of the trainers at the APC school with 11 years of experience.
Yeah, he's the most experienced guy on this show, apart from Ricochet, right?
I feel like you can tell. Because if you go back and you watch the KHAO show, they did a tournament show on that, and he was the guy that made it to the finals, so he was in like 3 matches. Yeah. I'm starting to realize why they might have been making these. One, he's the coach, so obviously the coach is gonna like. Master Roshi always makes it to the finals of the grand tournament, right? So, but you're also having your most experienced guy with Griff's got 2 years, Kuma's got 3 years, Zach's got 8. So it's like I've got a new guy, I'm a vet, you're a vet, you've got a new guy. Is this like a New Japan match?
Yeah, it's like those. You get 2 teams in the tag league where it's a star guy who they don't actually want to be in a good tag team because he's got single shit going on. So they throw him with a jobber just so he doesn't make it to the finals.
Well, it's like I swear we've seen a couple teams in either tag league or junior tag league that are like Watto and Tiger Mask.
Yeah.
Or like, but this is older Watto, so it's like didn't Watto and Tenzin tag up for a little while when Watto first
up for a while?
I couldn't remember if they tagged, but I'm remembering like pairings like this where it's like Taguchi and DKC. You know what I mean? Like, let's take a super crazy.
Tanahashi and Yoshitatsu were a tag team once.
Super crazy vet. Let's give them a new person. Let's see how that goes. One of my favorite pairings to stretch a little out of New Japan. I believe in Yuya. When he went to Excursion, he did his Excursion in a tag team. How am I blanking on his name?
Joe Hendry.
Yeah. So as much as like the positions have changed in wrestling, Joe Hendry's the more experienced guy. Here's Yuya. I think that was a good pairing because Yuya is not that good character-wise.
Yeah, expressing himself.
So putting him with Joe Hendry, who's like the ultimate character, was a good choice. But yeah, I love these like vet new person combinations because this is how you use tag teams. This is how you use factions.
He had in one tag league they had TJP and Clark Connors. Well, Clark Connors was still a young lion.
And you know what's funny is you said TJP and I was like, yeah, TJP's a rookie, and I had to go, no. TJP has like 17 years experience in professional wrestling. The guy's almost 40. I think he might be 40, but he's got a baby face. He's just one of those. But yeah, they work the crowd. They do the in-ring announcements. Over here, they call them Japanese style.
Really?
It doesn't
they
necessarily
don't even do them much in Japan anymore.
It doesn't necessarily feel Japanese to me, which is funny because people like out of all the people that work up here, I watch the most Japanese wrestling. So they'll say, "Oh, we're doing a Japanese intro," and I go, "Feel like I should know what that is. What is that?" And then they explain it, and I go, "But they don't. But they don't really do that
anymore." No.
Like maybe, they did it for the Bosch final.
Yeah.
But that's
very occasionally does it. Other Japanese companies still very occasionally too.
But I feel like if you use it for specific moments, that's fine. If you do it for the finals of a tournament, 100%.
WWE would do it more often. I remember especially like NXT's glory days, they would always do it for their championship bouts. It would always
black and gold. And they would darken the crowd, and they would have a spotlight on the ring, and it would
be
well done. Really well done. But it's turned into one of those things where it's like, I don't know how to. I wish there was an expression for this, but it's like something original starts, it moves down the line, it becomes like someone else does it, and they're like, well, we do it because this person does it. This person stopped doing it. You're just doing it because they did it years ago.
If you're doing it for like an Eastern regional television title bout with a 15-minute time on it, it's probably not the right place to do
it. They've done it a couple times on the show, but when I looked back to look at when they did it, it was I believe they did it for the #1 contendership for the tag title. They did it. That was the #1 contendership was the Star Boys match.
Yeah.
They did it for that. They did it for the Aaron Ordo versus Conor Mills match because that was the European title. Yeah. So they're doing it for the title matches, which I get, but this is now the third
contendership match. Really?
This is now the third time you've done it this show.
Yeah.
Going back to the example we gave on New Japan, they did it one time in a show, and it was the final of a month-long tournament where they didn't do it that entire time.
Well, to be fair, none of the other matches on that entire show meant a crock of shit, really. Like they're just
no, I get that, but it's like we're just trying to give the example of like
it has
we
more
understand
of an effect if it's done once.
Yeah, like use it a little less so when you do use it, it kind of stands out a bit more. Maybe change the lighting like we were talking about with NXT because I think they just had the house lights on. So kill the house lights. One big spotlight. Have the guys pose in the middle of the ring. Like, as much as I'm not a big fan of Triple H, those poses, the spotlight.
You got it right.
Nailed it. And it builds up this anticipation to the main event. It makes everything look better. It makes everything look more professional. But yeah. Let's stop praising Triple H and WWE for a minute.
Let's go back to talking about French wrestling.
Let's talk about actual professional wrestling. But no. Moral of the story is we appreciate the in-ring announcements once a show. Preferably the main event. But if it's a title match and it's semi-important, okay. These two, I just have they open slow, basic grappling. It's like, okay, you and me are gonna open the match. We're gonna work slow for about 5 minutes, and then we're gonna tag in our partners, and both of our partners are on cocaine, and they're just gonna go at it, boy, because that's what it felt like. It's like slow it down, start it off. Like I was like, is this gonna be a Japanese big match where it's like start slow? Really, like everything you've learned in school, wrestling school, do everything. Yeah. Like really, and then but it was like tag. It's like, holy shit! Okay, like this turned into another one of those I just got sucked in matches. Like we have the Suplex Republic are wearing matching singlets with the kick pads and the wrestling shoes. These are obviously workers. These are fighters. These are scrappers. The Technique, Griff, and Thiago, especially Thiago, these are old school heels. So we got two people who want to fight, and we got two people who don't want to fight.
They're trying to take any advantage they can.
But I love the framework of it is like, look, if we fight them, we're obviously going to lose. So we're going to do everything in our power to not fight them. And it doesn't go according to plan. But we get the most drama I think I've seen in a match so far because we get a fairly like, let's call it an NXT match. It's physical, it's quick, they're doing a lot. And then all of a sudden we start getting a little bit of drama because the Team Suplex guys, I got them confused. I'm very sorry, but they're wearing matching gear, so it's a bit hard. One of them starts doing the like, I want to take it to the next level. I need to be more violent. I think they grabbed the belt. I think they grabbed something else, and one of the guys is like, I'm going to do what it's like what I've dubbed the evil hand spot. You know what I mean? Where you hit someone with a weapon, then you look at your hands like, how could I have done it? But they do the like, I can't do it. They start getting frustrated. And then apparently, I don't know what clicks in this guy's brain, but all of a sudden he goes, I need to put this dog down. And they start going at it. And if I remember correctly, the closing sequence I thought was kind of interesting. So it's like ground and pound, super physical. He gets the guy into an arm lock, He takes
the guy's shoulder brace off beforehand as well. Like he's really being vicious about it.
That was the moment. Yeah, because he's working the shoulder. He goes, I'm done. Rips the shoulder brace off, works the shoulder more, puts him into a very like Penta Lucha Underground arm breaker. Yeah. And I don't know if this was classified as a good ending or a bad ending or whatever.
It made zero sense to me. The guy comes in, super kicks the ref, but then he doesn't bother to save his partner who's getting viciously like destroyed in the middle of the ring. He stands there for a bit, but then all of a sudden those two guys are still on the same page. And it's like that was their plan all along to just throw away the match.
So there was nothing stopping Griff from hitting the person, putting his partner in a hole.
I was wondering if like are there rules in French wrestling these days still where you can't break up a fall more than once or something. Because even if that was the case, you've taken the ref out of the equation. You can then still stop your partner from getting your shoulder torn to pieces, but he didn't. He just stood there. He stood there and like made a weird face.
This isn't this is a sort of bad moment because there's things where it's like, it just doesn't work, and that's fine if you're trying stuff. This is more of a like, I don't know what you were trying because I'm sort of confused.
I don't know.
So we've all seen the clip. I think PWG, this is a big famous clip where I think it was Lucha Brothers versus somewhere else, and Phoenix comes in and kicks the ref, so she can't do the 3 count. Okay, but no one cares about the burning your tag rule. Like if you're about to be pinned and I come in and I kick the pin and break it up, you only get 1 of those. No one cares. No one follows that. No one cares.
Even that these days.
Even the most technical of wrestling fans like us, who like really watch a lot and know a lot, we don't care. Like what? Like so. So in my eyes, when Griff came in, Thiago's in the armbar. Okay, Griff's gonna come in. He's gonna kick the guy holding Thiago to let go of the arm, so he can stop putting damage. But no, he kicks the ref. Does the like I just kicked the ref look? The camera is like the camera's trying to zoom in on him.
Yeah,
but you can still see his friend. His friend's still in the armbar.
And I mean, did he want to go grab the title and now use it now that the ref's gone? But he didn't want to do anything. He just
and then it turned into ring the bell, DQ.
I also thought it could have been he wanted to kick the ref to stop the ref from breaking up the submission when the guy inevitably taps out. He was turning on him by just letting him stop up. But he wasn't because they were friends afterwards.
But then okay, so I like where you're going. If we were working a match, I would go, I like that. I'm gonna add something. So you have me in the armbar. I'm about to tap. My hand is here.
Sure.
That's when my partner kicks the ref. I now tap.
It's happening, but nothing's changing.
But I, as the person, am saying I've had enough. You know what I mean? Now we have a visual. Now we have something to work off of because the fans can go,
you can look at your partner and just like smile at him and go like, hey, how's that going?
But that's like an FTR thing, like a very like timing oriented, but you have to tap because if you don't tap, your partner kicking the ref makes no sense because now you're just no selling the move now because you're not.
Was it supposed to be more to that spot or not?
I don't know. But this is one of those cases like we were talking about earlier where I think the fans were just appreciative of a good show so far. Everything's been great. Yeah. This finish is sort of confusing and weird. And everyone was just kind of like, okay.
Got one more match left to service.
The only thing, okay, 2 quick things to point out. After the match, the Star Boys come out and brawl with the Suplex RPG, Suplex Republic. So it looks like we're going to get Star Boys and the Suplex Republic, I think, for the belt. Okay, here's another...
Would make sense considering just one number 1 contention.
So this just ruined the finish even more because I just scrolled up. The Suplex Republic were the champs.
Yeah, the other guys threw away their title opportunity.
If Griff and Thiago were the champs and they did that finish, it would make sense.
Yeah,
because
of course.
I did a heel thing to keep my belts. As if I'm Thiago, I'm going to go, no, I'm fine with that because I'm still champion. I'm okay with your decision because we still have the belts.
Screw it. They just gave up. In the weirdest ways possible.
I'm going to hope no one got hurt in that match. And that's why he kicked the ref. Like, remember Jericho Neville? Where Jericho shoved the ref? But these guys look healthy, and they did a segment, they did a bit after. So, hopefully this was just, they planned it wrong. They got a little confused. They didn't land right. I'm not going to be too hard on them.
Moving on.
Yeah, exactly. It's a small screw-up, but yeah, it's fine. After the Star Boys come up, they set up the next title match. We get a video package talking about the APC Women's Champion. I feel bad I forgot to get her name down. But she's like, oh, I'll fight anyone. Whoever wants to come. Whoever wants to show up, I'll fight. They cut back to the arena and put up Chris Statlander's face. The crowd likes Chris Statlander. So that's another match they're promoting for Triumph in Paris, which that's a fantastic name, right?
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Like, whatever's happening in France, I need to be there. Like this, there's so much right happening. One wrong thing happened this whole show, and everyone's like, "Yeah, okay, moving on." Like, as long as you guys are safe and no one's hurt, we'll figure it out later.
I feel like you can point out more wrong things happening on the New Japan show. Really,
it's like, yeah, but I feel like I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's the good graces where this show they've done so much where you're like, yeah, okay, we don't need to. Some New Japan shows, it's like you guys could have put a little bit more effort in, so we're gonna be a little bit harder on you. But we're finally at the main event. Ricochet versus Kuro. Were you surprised to hear Ricochet on this card?
Yeah, that a random, or what to me seemed like a random French indie at first. It's kind of surprised to see him there. After seeing how many big name wrestlers they've got recently, though, I suppose it makes sense. They're really putting their name out there.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if it's just they have the right connections, or maybe they have some money, or I don't know if
one of the head trainers is now signed to WWE as a wrestler.
Oh, yes, I did see it was like Anjan Blanc or something like that.
Something
I did
like
see
that,
yeah. Oh yeah. Anjan Blanc. That he literally, oh my god. Kuro's out first, wearing black pants and fringe, 7 years experience, trained by Anjan Blanc. Another person returning from the KHAO show. So I think just like in American independence or any Japanese, Australian, whatever independence, there's always going to be those 5 or 6 people. Because I know in Canada, you can't go anywhere without seeing Gabriel Forza or Jody Thread or Pretty Ricky, or, there's like a handful of people that are basically on every show. So I wouldn't be surprised, considering Kuro, like how good he is, if he's one of the top guys. But Ricochet coming out wearing his AEW gear, black and red trunks, 22 years experience, mostly known for one match he had with Will Ospreay 10 years ago. Has he done anything else other than that one match?
He's been bald. That's one of his defining characteristics. He's very bald.
Talk about simplicity. The French crowd have a go at him for being bald.
Yeah.
Like, this is simple stuff, work the crowd. But I did have a laugh because Cage Match says Ricochet is trained by Brandon Walker, which I thought was Braden Walker for a second, Chuck Taylor, and Matt Bloom. And I was like, you're trained by Chucky T? Where?
The poor guy.
Where is Chucky T? Usually if you're trained by someone, you have like elements of them, like shadows of them in a way. I look at Ricochet and I go, does Chuck Taylor hate you? Like, I'm going to teach you, but I'm going to teach you everything that I don't do. Like, I don't know.
It would have been Shikara, right? Or something like connected to it.
I did chuckle because Cage Match was like, oh no, Ricochet's a product of the WWE PC. And I was like, are you sure about that? But then when I saw
he learned a few things from it, and like,
I'm sure. Hey, Matt Bloom, from all accounts, is a hell of a teacher. I don't want to take anything away from him. I'm not discrediting Matt Bloom, but it's extremely obvious that Ricochet was very highly trained before he even made it anywhere near the WWE. So how you make it to Boss J and put on one of the greatest light heavyweight matches of all time, we'll put quotations around that, a couple asterisks, but for that style, it was amazing. And I, as I'm watching this match, I was sort of going, did Ricochet learn more than Will Ospreay? Okay, so everybody said Ricochet and Will Ospreay, you got to change your styles. You can't work like this the rest of your life. You've got to adapt. You've got to move on. As I'm watching this match, I'm like, I think Ricochet learned so much from the Fed. Like, it's okay. So I want to try to express the difference here. So Kuro comes out. He's very highly skilled. He's like this. He works crowd. The second Ricochet comes out, it's like you immediately can tell the difference between independent training and any sort of high-level training. I'm not a big fan of the PC, but Jesus Christ, you can't help but that's an immediate difference. The way he walks, the way he looks. They start chanting bald at him, and he covers the ref's ears. Don't make fun of the ref. What? This is Ricochet. This is the guy that got criticisms for too many flip-de-doos and not selling and not working. And he's literally going, guys, leave him alone. Leave him alone. It's fine. He's fine. And the ref's covering Ricochet's ears. And then they do a bit where they have dueling footy jerseys. Now this, I understood, but I didn't understand. Because Ricochet comes out with one, and then Kuro has one. And I'm like, oh, yeah. It's footy. Yeah. I don't know what teams they're wearing. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know. But the crowd loves it. The second I don't even say ring the bell. The second Kuro comes out first, the crowd is just like, yep, we're in. We're down, brother. Like, whatever's going to happen. And they start off like a Fed match. Like, let's slow it down. Let's get some work into this. They speed up a bit. Kuro tries to slow him down. They do some walk and brawl in the crowd. And I noticed that we are 2-3 minutes in. And this is the most the crowd has been what I'm going to call openly worked. They're when you're doing punches and stuff, you're kind of working the crowd. But Ricochet's like, should I punch him? Yes. Okay. Should I chop him? Yeah. He's not doing it that direct, but every motion, every look, the crowd's being worked. When they fight into the crowd, he knows how to be amongst the crowd while still commanding them. It's such a weird sight, but it's I can't help but see the major difference. I kind of feel bad for
high level stuff for sure.
I kind of feel bad for Kuro because it's wow, Ricochet's not actively making him look bad, but the comparison side by side is there's so much work. I have it eventually becomes a Ricochet match.
Yeah.
So they as much as he's learned and gotten better, eventually the end of his matches are going to turn into high athleticism and cool ass moves. So, do you have any thoughts on this match?
I was impressed with Kuro. I suppose it makes sense why he's in the position that he is, and why he's sort of, I suppose, positioned as the next big French star to break out. I like the bits where they were holding the crowd to hold Ricochet. Kuro would slap his bald head. Well, it's brilliant. You can easily drag that out for 2.5 minutes, and everyone will love it.
This is okay. Overall lesson to be learned. Talk about simplification and working the crowd. Kuro goes to throw a jab. Ricochet goes like this to protect his face, and Kuro looks up, puts his palm up, smacks the top of the head. Crowd goes crazy. You you made logical sense. You went to throw a punch. He blocked it. He exposed his head. You got to work the crowd out of it. No one took a bump. Furious note-taking.
Yeah.
There's so much to learn from this.
So easy sometimes.
I did go double-check Kuro. Kuro, his cage match, again, I'm just using cage match. I don't know if it's right or wrong. I'm just using it as a source of information. Yeah, he is 80 kilogram. Do we need Nick Wayne in next year's Boschee? Can we? Like, I love Nick Wayne. Don't get me wrong, but he's been in 2. Maybe we bring in this little young fella from France.
That's exactly what I thought after the match. It's like, if there's anyone that New Japan should be looking for next year's Boschee, like,
and he's not
the option, right?
He's not a flip-de-doo boy.
No.
He's athletic. He knows how to work. Like, 7 years experience is pretty good. Like, I think there's been some Boschee people that have less experience. Well, probably the young Lions, but that's I don't feel fair comparing them because they are still technically.
Because they know the house style and all that. Like, they're familiar with the wrestlers that they'd be facing.
Yeah, and I don't know. This would be an interesting information. Apparently, worldwide, you can fill me in if this is correct. A lot of the spots are called in English, even for non-English speaking countries. Is that generally correct, or is that more of a misnomer?
All I would know is Japan. I think Mexico would be very strictly Spanish for the most part, but Japan. With Japan, it's not just because there's such a high level of foreign talent coming through. It's also because they still call it pro wrestling in the sense that it's still an English idea, and so they still just use a lot of English words in and around wrestling. They still call a lot of English words and stuff.
From what I heard, the reason that they do it, could be wrong, is the Japanese are very big on respect, and they feel like they were given pro wrestling as a gift from English-speaking people. So they continue to use English as a form of respect to the people who handed it to them. If that's true, if that's correct historically, that's phenomenal. Like, that's what we should be doing is honoring our the history that comes before us. You know what I mean? Like, that is what makes wrestling special. But what I was trying to say is I don't know Kuro's language skills. I don't know if he needs strong language skills to be in the Boschee. I don't know.
I don't think anyone does to wrestle in New Japan at all. Like, just think of how many foreigners go and work like events for promotions in the top 5 here. Like, do you seriously think all of them would have decent, or at the very least decent Japanese skills? It really doesn't matter. It obviously helps a shit ton, but it's not a requirement.
I heard a funny story on topic. I think it was Awesome Kong went to Japan. She was wrestling a lot of the Joshis. It might have been someone else, but I want to say it was Awesome Kong. Maybe Chris Statlander, now that I think about it. But there was a language barrier, and they were trying to have a match. Yeah. So we're trying to work on a match. I don't speak your language. You don't speak my language. Well, what do? They got action figures, and they got a ring, and they went, you, me, and they planned a whole match using action figures just because once a wrestler is a wrestler, the second you see that suplex, you go, suplex. I already know it's coming. Yeah. So you can show it, and then it's like everything's built in the brain now. You don't have to call a move because as soon as you put your arm over my head like this and grab my belt, I think I know where we're going with this. Yeah. So it's like you might need a little bit of language skills, but if you're just a good communicator in general, even outside of languages, you might have, and plus, I'm sure there's going to be guys that are like Tiger Mask, I'm sure has great English. Taka's, I hear has no good English. You know, there's certain people they say have no good English, but they've been working with Americans for decades.
Taka has great English. I can confirm that for sure. Doki has great English.
I heard Taka is a working. He can't speak English. Everyone says, "Oh no, his English is fine." I've heard that most of the Japanese fellas actually can speak a fair bit of Spanish too because of their relationship with Mexico. Which, I can't even speak English properly, and you're out there like 3-4 languages. Like, no, man, no. But going back to the match, praise for Kuro. This is I would say a personal highlight match from the whole like podcast I've been doing. The way that Ricochet knows how to work, especially a smaller crowd, it's very easy for him. I feel like he's not working hard to get this crowd. Like the bald stuff, the smacking of the head, like he's got him in the pocket, like no problem. Do you have any thoughts on the match before we get into the sort of the aftermath?
I thought the finish was dog shit. Like you do all the super athletic crazy stuff that Ricochet does, and what was it like the weakest sliding lariat you've ever seen in your entire life? Was it meant to be something more like a bit of an elbow type thing? Or
I was like, is this a hidden blade, but you hit it from like instead of hitting it from the outside, you hit it from the inside? Because it's that same like falling lariat. But yeah, so I don't know. There was a part of me that appreciates that his finish is a lariat.
Ricochet's not a power guy at all, but it doesn't suit him, I don't think.
That's fair. Like I can appreciate it as a finish, but yeah, no, I can see that he might need something a bit more appropriate. But who knows if he made a choice where he's like, look, I don't need to do a crazy flip-de-doo because I
prefer that over his old ancient finish where he would get people into a fireman's carry, then just throw them off. They would land on their feet and then hit them with a kick. As if the fact that they'd been thrown off his shoulders was supposed to like add something to it. I'm sure maybe in his athletic prime he'd be able to like connect in midair, maybe. But for the most part of clips I've seen, they would just land, stand there for a second, and then get kicked. Like just kick them. Just kick them straight up, man.
A good timed GTS, you hit them as they're coming down, and the logic makes sense. You're dropping them onto your knee.
Yeah, you need to a big knee to the face in close quarters,
and then swing the leg. Yeah, the timing. It's like this needs a timing and this needs a timing, so they have to both be perfect. The GTS is just one bang kind of timing, and well, we've seen enough of bad GTSs to know that, you know, like you can still get a bad timing and people go, that's fine.
Yeah, that GTS 9 times out of 10 can still look okay and deliver the message, but if someone's just getting thrown off the shoulders then standing there like in a T-pose for a full second before getting kicked, there was nothing added to the kick by them being on the guy's shoulders. But anyway, he doesn't do that anymore, so I don't have to complain about it.
The only thing we have after this, so what I thought was interesting is Ricochet wins. He beats their champion in a non-title match. I double-checked to make sure that it was a non-title match. And he just goes. Or no, sorry, he cuts like I'm gonna call like a French Canadian promo because he just goes like bonjour, je m'appelle, come see, come, and that's like everything you learn on day one of French class in Canada. And then he's just like, that's all I got. The crowd is like, nope, it's exactly like in Japan. If you just say one sentence in Japanese, like, well, we're fine, we're happy, that's great.
Yeah, it's just a nice touch, you know. It shows that you have some sort of respect for the country you're in.
And if you try to cut a full promo in that language, you're going to fuck it up and butcher it, master the one phrase, then move on. He just cuts a promo and leaves. Kuro stays in the ring. Mecha comes out. They do the stare down. I thought this was kind of fun. They do the handshake. Like, okay, like we're respectful. And then Mecha just grabs him, hits him with a pile driver. like, you got to do what you got to do kind of feel, which I was I like this. That's told so much story in one thing because it's like, look, I like you. You're my friend. I respect you. I am going to have to hurt you.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
Like, what it's and that's for.
And is that not the story of Rocky 4? If he dies, he dies.
That's that's the entire story of being a pro wrestler. We present ourselves as like competitors who want to win shit, and we see shit that is available for us to win. That's prestigious shit. We want to win the shit. We have to do whatever it takes to win it.
Yeah.
It's very the simplest, as simple as it gets, really. Wrestlers that want to win.
And this is why, another compliment to APC, all the stories so far have been sport stories.
Yeah.
Like, yes,
aside from that tag team title match.
It's like these guys might not like each other, but a lot of what's going on is number one contenders, championship matches, young guys and old guys, proving grounds. Like a lot of it, there's no like, oh, he slept with his girlfriend. Oh, he like it's all super sports oriented. But here, let's get into the kind of closing segment here. Oh, it worked perfectly. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I love it. It's like after the show, walk back to the car, have a smoke, talk about the show. Like, yeah. I can't start a quick review of this show without saying like, this was phenomenal. Like, this was by far the best show I've watched on this, and we watched Double or Nothing last episode on Road Trip.
Oh, you poor thing! You watched an AEW event.
I know it's a little bit of apples and oranges, but I said on that show, I'm not a big fan of like arena rock. I'm not giving you a fucking R. You know what I mean? I'm not going to a Kiss concert. I might go to April Wine. This show was like a Nirvana show with 200 people, small, intimate, like this is one of those shows that you're like, we have to come back. We have to come back.
You would for sure.
Like, out of all the companies I've watched, like KHAO included, that was a great show. But I think after watching this, after watching KHAO, I'm like, I think French wrestling, like, I can't leave this community now. Like, I need like, this company has put out a different show since the show that we're reviewing, and the show we're reviewing is a couple months old. So these guys are making like. I believe APC had like 15 or 16 events last year. For an independent, let's be realistic.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
More than once a month is amazing.
Like true.
The independents up here are like once a month, maybe twice a month. Yeah. But yeah, if you're doing like every 2 weeks or something like that, like this is amazing show, amazing talent. Whoever the trainers like. I want to just splooge all over this event. So I don't know if you have like you just want to cut me off and give me your 2 cents on the show, but
I don't have a heap to add, but like it definitely you could definitely say like France is up there with I suppose any other country in
apparently.
In the world. It goes to show you definitely can't just write off a wrestling show because of the country that it's in, because it doesn't have some like big money promotion to its name. There's good wrestling everywhere. You just got to go looking for it.
And it scales in a weird way too, because we can look at a country that like, what's a country that's new to pro wrestling? I want to say the Philippines has like, I want to say they just had Kushida there in their main event. They're fairly new to pro wrestling. China's fairly new to pro wrestling. Like
Poland has a bloody wrestling scene, I think.
I know that I'm spoiled growing up in Canada and growing up in Toronto, where the wrestling scene dates back to the early 1900s, like the not Madison Square Gardens, Maple Leaf Gardens in the 1930s used to get sold out to watch all these guys, to watch Jack Tunney used to book up here. Like there's extremely rich culture of wrestling in Canada. I am aware of the culture of American culture. I'm aware of the Japanese culture. I'm aware of the Mexican culture. So going into France, it was sort of me standing in this room going, goddamn, this is, like I didn't know. What was Shaq's quote? He's like, I was unfamiliar with your game and I apologize. French catch wrestling, I humbly apologize. I was not familiar with your game, but I feel like I am now, and I'm going to try my best to keep up with these companies, because there's like, it's just a hidden gem. There's no way else to explain it. Like how France has a culture as rich as Japan, Mexico, Canada. Like, what? Hey, maybe this is what they call a term I don't like to use a lot, but I've used it a couple times on this show. American exceptionalism. Maybe it is a bit of, hey, we're better because we're over here. You know, I get a lot of that with wrestling, with wrestlers up here. They don't want to watch anything that's not American or not. If it's not the Fed, if it's not the Dub, if it's MLW or any of those smaller American companies, you'll fight to get them to watch. If you say a Japanese or a Mexican name, most of them will try to mock you for it. So it's crazy to just go and step over to it. You're stepping into another country that's fully embraced.
Sometimes, it's the most random shit that'll be the most entertaining. I remember a couple of years ago when I was back up here in Japan, I was just skimming through, that one channel on VK that used to just post everything. They uploaded a show from Chile. Chile had some promotion. It was sort of half lucha. It had a little bit of hardcoreness to it, but it wasn't over the top. And I saw that there was a Rumble on the show, so I thought, fuck it, I'm going to watch a Chilean Rumble. And I had a blast. Great little show.
This is something that I've been trying to.
It was all hard cam too.
Oh no! But we watched an episode of Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. That was entirely hard cam. So, you know what I mean? Where we listen and we don't judge, because I love Tokyo Joshi. So to give them a compliment for something that they do and to try to shit on them for that'd be hypocritical of me. So, hey,
exactly.
If all you got is a hard cam, sounds like you have a wrestling show to me.
You've got footage of a wrestling event that I can watch. I mean, that's enough, right? Can I see the wrestlers?
What's it? Arrested Development? Is the hard cam like a bone? You put a bone in some water, you got yourself a stew going. Maybe the hard cam's the bone. You get a hard cam, you get a couple wrestlers, you get a ring. Hot damn, we're off to the races. But it's just sort of mind blowing to see the depth of the culture in France. I know you were watching the older Catch. I've seen a couple of those matches. That's not this.
Nah,
so
completely different stuff. I
don't know if
there would be no wrestling from back then that is still practiced now to that level.
Headlock takeover, buddy. Still, it works as good today as it worked back then, But hey, I said this about hip hop. I feel very strongly that this applies to all art forms. Our art forms are stronger when we take pieces of the generations that came before us. I like hip hop songs that are samples of old songs. So bringing that into the wrestling metaphor, a lot of these people are doing wrestling. This is real solid wrestling. This is paying respect to the territory guys, the Noah guys, the Big Japan guy, the APC guys fought hard. The lightest working person this whole show was Ricochet, and we know why, because he's trained in a different. That's fine because he's trained in a different style. But I appreciate the opening match being physical. I appreciate a lot of the guys on this card, and I'm just I could talk for a week about how I'm just blown away by all this, and I think there's going to be. I'll put it this way: this is episode 7 of Road Trip Wrestling. 4 of the episodes have been in the United States. This is the second one in France. I think we're going to get to 4 shows in France the way this is going, because this is phenomenal.
It's going to be one of your go-tos.
Why not? When in doubt, let's pack up and head back to France, because we know those boys are going to put on a hell of a show.
It's free on YouTube too, right?
How do you beat that?
Why wouldn't you? Yeah.
Right? We always talk about companies that are easy to get a hold of. Someone was like, hey, let's watch a GCW show. That's a little bit more at arm's reach. I could probably get my hands onto it. But when they say, hey, no, here's a click. Here's a free link on YouTube to a full show of phenomenal talent, including overseas talent. Where's the negative? Where's the downside to this? There's no commercials. There's no what's going on? There's no in-ring promos except for what I will dub acceptable in-ring promos.
Yeah,
there's no
short angles.
I'll rephrase it. there's in-ring promos, but there's no in-ring segments.
Yeah.
Oh, Mister, there's none of that. There's like, oh, thanks, thanks for cheering me on. I'm happy to be here. Like a New Japan end the show happy kind of promo. I'm fine with that.
Oh,
or I'm challenging you next week promo. Fine with that. But yeah. The fact there's no segments, they could have put something in the intermission. I would but I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to wrap this up because I'm like, let's go back. Let's watch the next show. Like, you got me all worked up.
5th of July. So in my time, that'll be around the 6th of July. Do you know by chance how long after that show happened that they released to YouTube? But was it live?
It said live. We can double check this because I have the day it was filmed. Streamed on May 30th.
It must have been live then.
What did I say? May 30th. Yeah. So it was streamed live. Yeah.
Wow.
Which is brave because there's still a part of me that's like, you should record that just in case. But hey, people like live wrestling. It adds that element of surprise to it. And personally, I kind of like when a show doesn't go perfectly.
Yeah.
I like the professionalism of a perfect show. But when, what's a good example? When Yoshihashi's music plays and the whole song plays, and then they have to play it again, and he comes out like the opposite end. I love shit like that. It just makes wrestling feel weird. Like, who is this guy that's coming out the wrong? Like, it just adds so much more. So luckily there wasn't a lot of mistakes. There was, slivers that I'm not going to nitpick on here, but overall for an indie show, what do you got to do to get attention in this wrestling landscape? If you can put on a show like this and it doesn't even have 8,000 views on YouTube.
Yeah, that's wild. Only 8,000.
So hopefully we can get some love to this company and maybe get it up to 10,000. But I think that might be it for me. Do you have any thoughts on the show before we wrap up?
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, as the old French catch enthusiast, I wouldn't mind there being a little bit more mat work, but it's the new age, The people pay tickets to see high athletic stuff,
but it's not an observation. I would say that's not an observation that I would dismiss easily. It's a very good point. Now, am I going to work a whole match, old school traditional mat wrestling?
Yeah, I wouldn't expect that. No.
But if you and me opened a match with some old school and then geared up a bit,
Absolutely.
No, but even as someone who's trying to grow as a professional wrestler, I would fully take that observation and put it in the brain. And
one thing I would say is whenever an old French catch match would involve the ropes, they would always do it in a way that still had this little bit of it could almost still be a shoot in there. Anytime the ropes are involved in pro wrestling, realism is out the window, obviously. But the way the French did it was just such snap and the quickness and explosiveness behind it. And it wasn't all this, you hit the ropes with your flat back, then do it nice big front on shoulder tackle. It just had that snappiness to it.
And
just especially in the smaller ring, right? Because that smaller ring, you need to have that explosiveness to make it just
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say back in that period, they hit the ropes less flat back with the arm. It was more ribs with the elbow. And because that was very you'd see Memphis guys do that. You'd see Harley Race and they hit it hard here. For your point though, I kind of like when you don't hit the ropes perfectly because you go, oh. When
he's actually thrown into those ropes.
And when you hit it weird and bounce off weird, there's an element of that's real. When you're Ricochet or Will Ospreay and you're so perfectly everything, boom. Even Kenny Omega, I blame a little for when he hits the ropes. He's so perfect when he hits the ropes. But it's like, dude, when you're taking damage and someone shoots you off the ropes, you can fuck it up a bit and take that rope high. And people are gonna go, oh, he didn't, you know what I mean? It's you're planting seeds of reality in the lies that make people go, I think that might be real. Because there was a moment in Double or Nothing where Darby Allin took some offense and went like this, and then did something else, and I went, that's real. This is a real thing you do to get blood circulation in your hands. It's not like they teach us in wrestling school, if you get punched in the face, check your nose to see if you're bleeding. Check your mouth. Everyone does that. Like Goldust does that. But no one does this. You know what I mean? Only Darby does it. So it's a weird thing that makes you go, ooh, that's real. Maybe. That's the magic. That's my magic word in wrestling. Maybe. We know all this is fake. We know all this is fake. But maybe, just maybe, this one's not. And that's all you need, is you just need that maybe put in the fan's brain, and they'll go, shit, I'm into this. But if that's all you got for this show, oh my god, it's 2 hour 20 so far. Let's wrap this up and go bloody home. Let's get to the finish, as they say. My name is Paul Rogers. I've been the host of Road Trip Wrestling. You can find us. We are on YouTube and Spotify. Every episode comes out either on the first or the 15th of the month. Trying real hard to keep that consistent. You can also find me. I help Jason on the Ringside Syndicate. We do the Hard Cam, which is just a weekly wrestling news show. We're trying to get more worldly stories, but you know how that goes in wrestling. But that's me explained. ItcheE, how can people find you? Can we see some of your work? How can we?
My Instagram is ItcheE40. The way ItcheE is spelled here with the 40 on the end. Pretty much just that. I think my X is the same, unless it's just a 4, not a 40. I can't remember. I don't really like social media.
To be fair, you have a very distinct name, so it's not like you're me and there's going to be 100 Paul Rogers. But
if you see JTO events upload on YouTube within the next few months that are dated to like June 2026, that's what we're in right now. I'll probably be on that as a wrestler or referee. It depends what they want me as on the day, you know.
It's just a big thank you for watching from me and ItcheE. This has been episode 7. Anytime you want to come on, because this has been a blast, and I'm trying to get as much worldly information as I can. So you being from the completely opposite side of the globe, it is, at time of recording, it is 11:45 a.m. for me. What time is it for you?
11:42 p.m. I have training tomorrow morning.
So this is gonna be, but this is the whole point of the show. Let's start connecting these webs across the world. But I just want to say thanks for coming. Thanks for giving us your opinion. Thanks, viewers, for watching. But until next time, have a good evening, afternoon, or day, whatever it may happen to be. Peace.
Cheers.